podcast. And I'm your host, Toka. And this is International Women's Day special. Happy International Women's Day to all the resilient women out there watching this video. Today, I celebrate you. As we all know that today marks a reminder of how far a woman has come and the barriers that can stand in the way of a girl daring to dream beyond expectation. And this year's theme, I'm even surprised, it is give to gain. And this is what we are doing. We are giving to gain on this podcast. On the episode titled Breaking Barriers in Career Choices for Girls, we'll be giving to gain a lot, featuring my trailblazer in the field of neuroscience as a guest speaker, and an educator and a mental health advocate who is here to share our insights, lessons, and experiences on how a journey of a woman, very girl, on how a journey of a woman stepping into a space where the odds of life seems not to be ending. Hmm. Before we dive into this conversation, join me in welcoming Dr. Mrs. Oritoke Okeowo.
Thank you. And it's Dr. Oritoke Okeowo, not Dr.
Okay, okay, Dr. Oritoke Okeowo.
Yes, I prefer to be called that because one of our major arguments is if a man becomes a doctor, you don't say Doctor Mister. So it's part of the challenges that we have as females. So we better be addressed by our correct title and appreciate that we also put in a lot of work to get that. Okay. So it's Dr. Oritoke Okeowo. Can you see me now? I hope so.
I'm still trying to, say, I don't know what is happening.
But I can see you
clearly.
Audience can see both of us. So.
Okay, Miss Feishayo, can you see us? Miss Feishayo Onoyemi. Miss Feishayo Onoyemi. Okay, ma, let's just start since you can see me.
Okay, but I don't know if it's be recording that way. Okay.
You can start, ma. Okay,
she can
see both
of us.
Can you see both of
us?
Can you see both of us? Miss Feisha, can you see both of us? Hello, Miss Feisha. Can you see both of us? Okay. You can see both of us. I think it is my own camera.
Yeah. Because I can see you.
Okay. Okay, ma, so let's continue.
Okay. So thank you for having me. Mariam, it's always a pleasure. It's an honor to be on your podcast. And happy International Women's Day to you too, and to you, Faye Shayo, and every other person that will be singing also joining us today.
Thank you for honoring my invite, for the stress that I've been giving you. Thank you so very much. I really do appreciate you.
That's right.
So, ma'am, can we get to the business? I'll be interviewing with some questions as I always disturb you. So let me start. Can you share a moment from your journey into neuroscience when you almost gave up, but something or somebody reignited your passion to keep going?
Yes, when it comes to, thank you again. When it comes to, yes, I'm a neuroscientist. And then when it comes to my journey, I think a lot of people I've had several mentors along the journey. And of course, there has been several times when I almost gave up because it hasn't been easy being me. Like I've had to go through a lot of challenges, and part of the yeah, I think very remarkably around one time was when I had to buy my form for masters, and I remember that I had to use my first alawi, that's the NYSC allowance, the first one, instead of for food or for a place to live because I was managing with an old woman back then that I didn't move anywhere. And but I had to use part of my first LOE, which was 19.8. I had to pay, is it 13,000 or 15,000 for the master's form. And I think it wasn't an easy decision to make because it wasn't as if I also had money to pay for the school fees when I finally get the admission. But I just had to buy the phone and know that okay, I was going to move on. Yeah, so that was really challenging. Yeah, yeah, I would say yeah, different people have been there at different times. I wouldn't say at that point if there was a neuroscientist who was there, but I think that a few people have always been in my corner that I can talk to from time to time. Yeah, so I don't know who exactly at this point I should pick, but I would say that over there's just been people. God has always been helpful bringing in people from one time to the other, but it might not be about the career per se at that time. Maybe just somebody to talk to, and they'll say, "Oh, yeah, making. I think you're making the right decision." Sometimes it could just be friends. Yeah, so
Okay, ma'am. Thanks for that response. How do you navigate barriers as a woman in science?
as a woman in science, navigating barriers, how? I would say majorly just to really remain focused because there will always be a lot of things that would want to drag you back. There would always be, but your goal is to remain focused. And with if you keep working hard and I know it's not usually as easy as I just said it. It's so let me I'll keep sharing stories in between just to make it easy for understanding. So I know that when I got my job at futa to lecture, I was the only female that was employed out of like 10 male. I was the only female. So out of 10 staff, if I'm right, or 9, I was the only female. And at that point, it felt really strange because as a young lady, it was almost like, okay, now that I'm here as a young lecturer, if I'm having challenge when it comes to oh, family, child, who can I run to that is also in this field that understand the challenges? There was actually nobody. And I looked around, it almost felt like we had 3 departments in my faculty at that time. And each of the 3 departments, surprisingly, only had one female per department. So I was one female in my department. The second department also had just one female. The third department also had one female. And we were all like age group. So it wasn't like one person was more experienced than the other. So it was really challenging when you look around. And I know that it was even more challenging when my female students started coming up to me to say, Ma, how is it easy to balance education and balance family and balance career? How do you do it? And I'm like, oh God, how am I going to answer this question? And I think to myself and I'm like, I cannot fail. I cannot afford to fail because now I have a lot of people looking up to me. And I think that was what prompted me to start doing my female in STEM outreach that I used to do back then. That I started doing back then. But it was really challenging. And I think that the only way was at that point, I would say that there was a male colleague who was in this other department, but it was in my research field. He's also a neuroscientist. He's still my mentor till today, but also my very good friend. So kudos to Dr. Mamos, almost Professor Mamos. So he was a major person who stood when it comes to, the push. So I remember that he gave me the very first push to writing a grant that helped my PhD work. So, and
Mm.
he read my work, he looked at it, he corrected it, and that was a big deal because, but he was also a very young person. He's still very young, and he was quite young too, but he was more advanced than myself. So, but then he didn't, he was a very supportive male, and that's why even when we talk about females doing well and females progressing, we must also recognize or we also advocate that the male know that they have roles to play to support the female. So at this point, this my friend was a major, he has been a major support system for me even till now. And back then, he was the only person I could really, you know, um, hold on to when it comes to my career. And he has been there even till now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the focused, and I could sometimes, it even helps with some family issues, and help take care of myself when I need him to, for me to be able to stay focused on my path. So yeah, I'm going to point at him at this point. Yeah,
Okay.
very.
Okay.
Mhm.
Was there a particular setback, maybe academic or personal, that later became a turning point in shaping the woman you are today?
So you know where we are going to about this question.
I
um
know already.
Already, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I told you the first time we had this conversation, I'm not always sure if it's like the right time to share, but I would still feel like it's also a good time to share.
Okay.
Yeah, many people might not know this about me, but I current, I've been divorced. So that is a big deal because some people don't know, and some people never. I don't look like maybe what I've been through, and it was really a bad one. But then I am. It's. I think that it's a good thing for me because I say I'm always grateful that that happened in my life. Not because it's a good thing, not because I want people to experience it. It's really a terrible thing to experience. But I would
Mm.
say that it gave me a second chance at knowing me and at being the woman that I am today. I'm grateful for that opportunity. I'm grateful for the growth. I'm grateful for the growth that I've been able to, it's like I metamorphosed into Oritoke, and that is really a big deal for me. I am really grateful. I am really excited about that. Even though it came at a big pain, it came with a deep pain, something I never expected. But still, today, I am very happy. I am happy that I I got an opportunity to know me. So these days, that's why in the past few years, anyone that knows me, if I want to talk about myself, maybe on any platform, I want to congratulate myself for my birthday. I talk about Oritoke as a third person. I talk about her as somebody different because she's somebody that I got to know, and I'm so amazed at who she is. So that I think that if I didn't have that major setback in my life, I probably wouldn't know her. I probably wouldn't appreciate who she is. But that setback, that pain, that big deal really gave me the opportunity to know Oritoke, and I'm glad that I really know her. And so I think for me, it's more like an opportunity to encourage people. Yes, we don't wish for bad things, but when some bad things happen to us, it's really not, it depends on the purpose of God for your life. It's really not about maybe you're not doing well or you're a bad person. Sometimes it's
Mm.
just an opportunity for God to showcase you specially. So I know I gave you an analogy one time when we talked. I told
Yes.
that when you want to have a catapult to like kill a bird, you have to like pull it backwards, right? But then, depending on how far you want to shoot or how strongly you want to shoot, that will
Hmm.
determine the magnitude to which you would pull back, the string, so that by the time you release, then you're able to like shoot very far. And I think that that was what happened to me. I needed to have that deep pain, which it felt like the magnitude of being pulled back. And when God finally released me, even me, I'm still in awe. Like, God, really, this that small girl. So you really had this in plan. You really have these things you really wanted to do with her. And I'm glad that I'm allowing God to use me for the good things He has in plan. And it's been really good. But yes, I will admit it came with a lot of pain, with a lot of pressure, and also with a lot of shame. I felt like my world was going to crash. I felt like I would not be able to face anyone anymore in my life. But oops, look at me today. I think I even face better crowd than before. I face bigger crowd, better crowd, and so I'm excited. It's a good thing. It happened, yes, and then we moved forward. So sometimes those pains will come, and as young girls, it might be a lot to take in at a time, but it's me using today to say, no matter the situation, no matter what happens, you should just see it as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to be a better version of you, and take it in, and then push forward with it. Yeah.
Thanks so very much. I really loved all your points, the lines, and everything. I grabbed all the strong points. I know that when I knew you as my core member when you were teaching, because guys, Dr. Oritoke, because I don't want to say Mrs. Dr. Oritoke Okeowo, she once taught me in school. She's my former core member. She's a former core member that taught in my school then. So she never looks as what she has been through. She never looked as what she's going through, because then we never know if she's going through anything or not. But all I know is that all I'm learning from what you are sharing with us is that your story, your recent story, or anything that is happening to you, that reaction that you are in, that situation that you are in, it can never define you. It can break you, yes, but you can survive. From what you said about catapult, you trying to hold yourself, your strength and everything. And your strength now determines on wherever you want. That strength, that is what is actually carrying you. That is what is actually becoming what you want in your whole life. So now you having that strength and you able to control that strength in the right path, because that challenges, that barrier, it can never control you. You it started, so it will definitely end from you. So thanks for sharing, ma'am.
Yeah, and then I think what I just shared was it didn't happen when I was a core member in your school. I think my major story back then are people, maybe you and every other person, and I do remember Miriam,
Okay.
Ajadi, Miriam, was she in
Yeah,
your school?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was my student.
a lot. And I think that then, I think one of the biggest thing that was happening to me when I was a core member was that people didn't know that I was an orphan. I've been an orphan when I was very young. I think I lost my mom at 10, my dad at 16. And so when I came for service, I came alone. I was alone. I had almost nothing. So, and I was sharing with you that then I was living with an old woman that somebody just introduced me to, and I had to, sleep on our bench, by our door. Back then, I had really no place of my own to stay. That was where I was managing before I finally, then after months, I was able to get a place of my own. But back then,
Okay.
and then during service, what was I doing? Okay, I was teaching, private lessons, and as well I was doing some NGO jobs when I find to do. But when I come to school back then, I was also doing the anti-HIV club thing,
Yes,
and
sir.
and
When
I
we
would
talk
dance
about the ideas.
and I would dance and I would sing and I would teach you guys those songs. We would clap together. We would
Yes,
do all
sir.
this together. We would do the small drama, and it looked like I didn't have any problem. Oga, there was a lot of problem. Once I step out, I think every day for me then was about the next life that I could impact. And I know that every young girl that I had to touch back then, and I'm glad when we reconnected. So it's like I'm always when I remember, I'm like, oh my god, it's so nice to like reconnect. And it was really, it's still a big deal to me that those young babies back then, even I was a baby, but I was a senior baby, but back then, that you guys are now grown, and every one of you now is also doing different things. And of course, like today, you're also planning, you're giving back to the society, trying
Yes,
to touch
sir.
young ones, just like I touched you, and of course, other people touched me too. So I just like, it's yeah, and it's not like even you currently that is like, it seems like you're not going through any of your own challenges. Every one of us is going through one thing or the
Yeah.
other. But we keep pushing like there is nothing, but then like we're able to impact life means, for me, it means the world that I'm able to touch life. So I think that for me is my major. Once I'm out and I'm touching lives, I forget my problem. When I get back home, there is zone. But when I'm on the street, I forget it. So I think that
Thank you for touching our lives into a better part. So, as a mentor to young women and an advocate for neuroscience, is it advocate for neuroscience or advocate for mental health?
advocate for mental health and
Okay,
female in STEM. Yeah.
okay, advocate for mental health and female in STEM. Can you recall a moment when you realized that your work was changing? Okay, I think we are already saying it, that your work was changing the trajectory of a woman's life, of a young woman's life.
Yeah, a lot. I recall a lot. I'm going to go back to you.
Okay,
And I think she's a part of her story is a part of my life that I talk about when I have the opportunity to. I remember back then in that when you guys were in GS3, and
okay.
I think she was the most brilliant in the set,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
wanted her to go for sciences. And I remember that I went an extra length to talk to her mom because she wanted accountancy, and her mom said, "Oh, she had to do science. Maybe they wanted her to be a doctor." And I had to go a special length to talk to her to make her see that let this girl do whatever she wanted to do so that she would
Yeah.
be happy with herself. And it's almost like, no, it makes it And I told her, I said, okay, I'm going to buy textbooks so that you don't have to feel like you're going to waste your money in case she's not doing well. And remember that we didn't get to have to buy essentials, all the essentials, because I also didn't have money to buy all the textbooks for SS1, SS2, and SS3. So we had to buy essentials. But once in a while I see her on Facebook, and I think she's out of the country now, and
Yes.
I'm like, look at that young girl of back then, very well. And so also other young people. I think there was this two girls that was coaching extra lesson in Ibadan then. And then these days I see them online, and there was one time their mom spoke with me, and it's really a blessing. And of course, more recently is when my students, like, when a girl, first was a girl who walked up to me in the university and was asking me, "Ma, how do you think I can manage career and manage being a female in a family and career?" For me, that question touched me because I felt like that means this person has seen me as a figure who is doing it. So I knew that, oh yes, that means my life is touching somebody else. And it always propelled me to do more. And I know a lot of my old students who have graduated who are now all over the world doing masters or PhD in different parts of the world now, to the essence of Asia, Europe, America, the UK. When they call or when they write on social media, on LinkedIn, they write about their lives, they write something, and once in a while they give credence. They say, "Thank you, Dr. Oritoke, for teaching me this, for this, telling me this one time." It makes me feel really blessed. It makes me know that all the effort and all that God has put in me that is not going into waste. That at least it is touching the lives of others. And I
Yes.
know that some people would have sent me messages. Happy Teachers Day, happy but even some Valentine's Day. My former student wished me Valentine's Day to say, "Oh, of love is you teaching us and contributing to our life, impacting us, correcting us when you should." And those corrections, even though it seems very harsh when you did it, oh yes, I can be very tough. I know that. Even though it seems very tough, harsh when you did it, now we have taken it, and it's a blessing to us. Our lives have turned around. All of this makes me really excited. I screenshot these messages and I keep them very closely and dearly to my heart. So I think that, yeah.
Okay, well, well done, ma'am. Okay, so moving on. What lessons about resilience can you share with young women striving to pursue big dreams like you?
Mm. Resilience. Resilience is not debatable, and I think that is just it. It is not debatable for anybody who wants to achieve. It is not debatable. Life is naturally unfair. Life
Hmm.
hits you hard, and of course, for anything that is going to be, you said before, is it how did they put it? Said for iron to become gold or something like that. What it has to pass through fire over and over and over and over again. Life would throw things at you. Are you going to allow yourself to fall? Or even when you fall, are you going to lie down there or you are going to actually pick yourself up? Life is not going to rub your head. No. Everyone, there is nobody on this earth that doesn't have a challenge. Even Dangote, even Otedola, even anyone on earth. We might only have different challenges. When your own challenge is finance, Otedola Dangote might not have problem with finance. They might have their own challenge that probably even you and I don't have. We are not close to them. We don't know. So we shouldn't, don't, never assume that you're the only one going through the problem. Every person you see on earth, Miriam, if I ask you right now, you have a problem that you're dealing with right now. Ask me right now, I have something I'm dealing with right now. Because I'm smiling, because I am showing up today, does not mean that I am challenge free. We all have one or the other that we're dealing with. So resilience is the only way out. No matter what you're going through, you just have to be resilient. You just have to keep going. Okay, I was still at a school on Friday for an old student association, and I was telling them, this is one of my watchwords. The only thing that can stop you from achieving a goal is you.
Hmm.
Nothing on this earth, not your brother, not your sister, not your mother, not your father, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your husband, not your wife, not your child. Nothing on this earth, not even your boss at work. They might try. They might pull you down a bit. They might drag it. Somebody might delay it. But I tell you, that thing, once you put your eyes on it, that's what they say you should envision. See it in your mind first. Once you can see it in your mind, and Miriam, if I see myself one day, if I begin to see myself as the president of Nigeria, Miriam, I tell you, I'm going to get there. I'm not saying it yet, but if God places it in my heart and I begin to say it, it will happen
Yes.
because I can't lose my focus. So it depends on what you see. So if you see yourself, if your inner mind envision yourself as somebody who will not make it, then that is what you would end up doing. If you envision yourself as the top, a CEO, and you keep seeing that dream or that vision in your mind every day, it will happen. And the only thing that would stop you is you. So you just have to remain, that resilience is what will now keep you fixed on that vision. And once you're fixed on it and you keep doing what it takes to get there, then nothing can stop you. No matter how hard the situation is, nothing can stop you. I would always say it. I, Oritoke, should be one of the people on earth that would have nothing. But
That,
no, I
hmm.
am not. I do have a lot. I've been able to at least achieve a lot by the grace of God because I didn't let where I was coming from to stop me. I was coming from a most likely no background.
Hmm.
For anyone that knows me, I was coming from a no background. But here today, I can say that that story has changed. My son, my daughter cannot say that they are coming from a no background. No, because
Yes.
I am able to build a background for them. And I think that that is also what should be in the mind. And all of this could only happen, yes, number one, by the grace of God, followed by a lot of resilience and focus. So every young girl out there needs to know that they do not have any other option. Resilience has to be part of their keywords. They have to keep moving and keep pushing with resilience.
Thank you, ma. So, what Dr. Oritoke just said now is about you yourself, you that you are listening to this video. You think you can do it, but you can't do it alone without you. And that without you comes from resilience because it comes from that inner strength that is within you. And you are the owner of that inner strength. You are the one that, the way I said earlier, that you are the one that can control that strength in you to do whatever you want to do. It can be anything if you apply effort to it. So it doesn't just come, it doesn't just exist. It actually comes from what you are doing, from what you keep on doing, from that resilience inside of you. So moving on, ma'am, what fuels your passion for both neuroscience and mental health advocacy?
What fuels my passion? Okay. um, what fuels my passion? I think my number one passion is actually to teach, and I've been
Okay,
doing that for so long. I love teaching. I still enjoy teaching.
okay,
Yeah, however, from research, I found myself doing neuroscience, stress research particularly. And then from my research, I found out how much stress affects our mental health. And then that was what drew me into advocating for mental health. Because when I did my master's research and I saw the impact of stress on our brain function, to our neurons, when I did my research, and I was able to look at to the lowest level of the neurons, our dendrites, which is our connection, which is our connecting fibers for communication within our neurons. And I saw the damage that the stress that I exposed the rats to caused on the dendrites. I realized that this is a major issue. And because of that, I decided that, okay, I was also going to do advocacy for mental health in society, because that is more like me translating my research in the laboratory to the society. So I like to do community work. I like to break down community. I like to do community service. And I realized that doing my research is also a way to touch the community. So now I do my research in the laboratory, but then I find a means to communicate what I find in the laboratory to the people. And the only what relates my research to community is our mental health, is brain health. So that's how I started advocating for mental health, for wellness of the brain, and that's how I started doing that. And of course, my passion for girls, that has been a thing, because for me, I felt like being a young girl, I've had people walk up to me and treated me in a way to say, it's because you're a girl, so you have something in your body to give to me, then I'm going to give you in return. And I felt like if I didn't have a female reproductive organ, you would treat me like a guy on the. So I told myself, this definitely is a challenge that every young girl will be going through when they need help. That the male, those the undeserving males will want to use them by sleeping with them and say, oh, because you have a free reproductive organ, you give it to me and I give you something in return. So in that way, I started advocating for girls, to say that yes, girls, no matter what you're doing, assume that you don't have a free reproductive organ and then work hard so that you can, become who you want to be, even without the help of those ones that want to take advantage of you. And so that is why and how I started advocating for these two things in my life. But yeah, that's where I am.
I think when we were discussing the last time, you called it something.
I thought
No,
that you don't have a V.
Yes, that's exactly what I want to remember. You called it exactly, exactly. You called it moving.
So
So today,
assume you don't have a V. So what add you don't have a V? Mm-hmm.
exactly. And I think that today is actually the best day to serve as a reminder for every girl child striving into a career that shows that maybe this is too difficult, this is not for girls, this is so technical, it is not for you. You have to sacrifice something to get something. Just have it in mind that there is no V.
No
So you
V.
have to be a man. Even if it is technical, you must man it. Even if it is too difficult, you must man it. Even if it is not for girls, you must man it because there is no V. So if a 17-year-old girl listening to this podcast doubts her ability to strive in a challenging career path, what would you tell her as someone who has lived through barriers and break them?
Yeah, a 17-year-old girl. So I will tell a 17-year-old girl, I've said it before. The only thing that can stop you is you. If you do not give up on your dream cannot give up on you. So for a 17-year-old girl, there's so much opportunity on earth. There is so much to do. There is a lot that is achievable. You're just starting your life. It's really fresh. Your life is like just fresh from the tap, like fresh water. Yes, you might have challenges, but your life is still fresh. So the only thing that can stop you from, achieving that goal, that dream of yours, is you. Yes, you would need help. You will need a lot of support system, and you would find if you look in the right places. You can have mentors in different areas of your life. Seek for mentors. If you find somebody who is doing well in your field, your chosen career, talk to them, send them a message, walk up to them. Ma, sir, can you please mentor me? And I'm not saying that everybody's going to be good to you. Once you think that, oh, this person is not being good to me, they don't take advantage of me, do not see yourself as that person is your alpha and omega. Even I, if you walk up to me and I become difficult to still speak with you or to still see you, find another mentor. You are allowed to have several mentors. As I am today, I have several mentors. I have mentoring for this part of my life, another mentor for this part of my life. I have this one for this other part of my life. I have this person, that person. I manage my relationships with them so that when I need help, I run to whoever. If this person is not available, I can run to the other person, and I'm still able to get what I need. So you are the only person. Remember, one is that you are the only person who can stop yourself. The day you stop working on your dreams, then your dreams begin to die. And secondly, never be ashamed to seek for help. Seek for help when it comes to friends, friendship, mentors. Seek for help always. Any help, anyone that has gone through what you need, that you're about to go through, walk up to them and seek them to, ride with you. Okay? And I'm sure there are a lot of people who are looking for people to invest into their lives. So you definitely find people. So I think for me, those two things are very important for a young girl. Thank you
Okay,
very
thank you. Thank you so very much, ma. From the fact that I said is a 17-year-old girl. A 17-year-old girl should be the one that wants to you just want to step into the future. You just want to see yourself. You just want to know yourself because you are just stepping in. You are just getting in there. So it now determines whoever you want your mentor to be. Let a particular thing determine the personality of that mentor that will push you to that person to be your mentor. Don't just take any rash decision because sometimes we take some decision and it will actually define us. Some decisions are made that we don't think twice. We just think about it and you do it. No, So let your mentor be the one that will lead you to positive impact. As we are here today, just to talk about breaking barriers in career choices for girls. If any of this speaks to you, if any of this resonates with you, and you think you are in this kind of situation, you think you want to be listened to, you think your situation, you are the only one in it. No, you are not the only one in it. As you can see, that my trailblazer in the field of neuroscience is called a nut breaker. So you also can be a nut breaker. That background can't define you because you can define yourself. You know yourself, you can control yourself. That inner strength of you can lead you to wherever you want to be. You can be anything in life. Happy International Women's Day to everyone again. So we've come to the end of this episode. Thank you, man. Thanks so very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. All right, bye, man.